Oh, here we are. Um, Brian is 1/3 of our president, so not sure what to think of that. However, he is chairing today's session. He has actually thrown his hat in the ring to become Kian Caller along with Neve Clark. Um,
McNamara.
not Clark, McNamara. Sorry, I forget that you changed. We are just waiting for the session to properly begin. Neve McNamara threw her hat in the ring as soon as she resigned as the Secretary General, which was yesterday. And we will now see her and Brian, I believe they're the only valid candidates, run against each other. We also, obviously, it being a legislative session, we also have legislation to pass. So if I quickly go over, we do actually have graphics for the stream that look closer to Oireachtas TV. So if you want to take a look at those, they will be up. But hold on, I just need to edit it. But yeah, that is the Yeah, that is what's going to be happening today. If I just quickly read out the legislation. The business of the dual is the Professional Regulation Amendment 2025, Public Trials Bill 2025, and Judicial Appointments Amendment 2025. There is also the Constitutional Amendment in the business of the Shannon, even though I don't believe it should be, because it is, it was denied by the Shannon last week. But I suppose we will see whether that's re-proposed in dual again. The nominees for the Kian Caller is now being read out. I'm not sure who that is.
No, it's not being read out. Brian's asking for the ejection standing order, so I'm assuming he's going to try eject me or my voter. Yeah, I'm literally.
He hasn't said it correctly, so that's not even an ejection. And he's kicked from the chair, so there will have to be. Well, people who are running for Kian Caller can't even chair the debate. It has to be, not the debate. It has to be. Usually, the clerks will chair just the first part until a Kian Caller is elected. But yeah, Brian was ejected from the chamber just there. I believe by the clerks who've already erupted into chaos. We have one running for the presiding officer, Eamon rising to ask why that happened, and nothing else. The clerk is now reading out nominations for Kian Caller. Currently, because the president is on leave of absence, they will be partially president. They will be on the presidential commission whilst it is still formed. There's been a motion to elect Victoria as the presiding officer for the Kian Caller election, and there has been a second from Francis Butler Yates. So we will now, well, that is a valid motion. So Victoria may be voted on to become presiding officer. Brian is back, so I'm not sure what will be happening there. Okay, the Lash Kian Caller will not preside according to Neve, but well, honestly, there's such chaos already. The Lash Kian Caller is conflicted, says Neve, who is also running for Kian Caller, due to his candidacy. I'm quickly going to get the graphic up, so.
Right, there needs to be group staff here.
So, I mean, we're already starting off with a Brian says I have no authority here. Honestly, I don't know what I would have expected. It's Brian. I believe that's all correct. So we have the new graphics again for everyone watching the YouTube stream. Go on the YouTube stream, not the Discord. But yes, if you want to take a look at those graphics over there. Brian will not chair. Apparently, the group staff have been contacted. Again, this is all. If I was the clerk at this point, I would just hear the nomination for Victoria, but I'm not. I'm not the clerk, am I? So we'll have to see what happens there. I think Eamon is trying to raise his. The chair is as is accustomed shall be a clerk. Okay, so the clerk has assumed the chair. Somehow Brian's got DMs. Not DMs, mod perms.
It's
Um,
removed.
okay, the clerk is the presiding. Right, hopefully. This is what happens when you don't have a Secretary General. Even though the Secretary General wasn't actually an official title until very recently. Until it was written into the standing orders. So we're just going to be waiting. Eamon has risen to, I presume. Oh, flip, that was not what I meant to do. Sorry about that on the cameras. Again, I'm still getting used to the system. Don't worry, I'll get better. Right, Right, first, Neve has been nominated from South Leinster Labour Party. No, she's nominated by Eamon and the Labour leader Erin, I believe, seconded. So that is Neve Clark who has been nominated. This is why the runners for Kiakula do not share, by the way, because things like that happen. Brian is trying to raise in defiance, saying he's been cooed by men in grey suits.
What's the ejection standing order? Is it 24 or 44?
44 for general, I believe.
Yeah.
There are certain, but... And then Brian O'Kearney has been nominated by Jack Cosgrave, and seconded by True Donald, Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, respectively. So these are the two candidates that will be running for Cian Corla. Again, whilst the president is away, they'll also be on the presidential committee, having 1/3 of the president's power, even though it's not usually exercised. I think we saw, and I've personally only seen the presidential commission give one government their seal, and that was when Victoria was Cahirloch. I think Eamon was Cian Corla. But it was quite interesting to see, instead of the president, the presidential commission giving out those seals. But moving on and putting back the topic of the Cian Corla debate, Erin is called upon to give their speech as to why Neve should be, because they are the person that put forward it. Oh, never mind, she's the second. Never mind, it should be Eamon. Brian is still standing up. The clerks have demanded that Brian sit down and be silent. I'll have to see if that actually happens. But whilst we do wait, again, this is why we do not have the Lash Cian Caller, if they're running for Cian Caller, chair the session, because again, he tried to immediately banish Neve, his rival. So again, this is why the Cian Caller doesn't... Runners for the Cian Caller do not chair these sessions, and again, it's usually the Secretary General or a clerk. Now, Eamon is now risen, thanking the chair first, before going on to list the reasons as to why he has nominated Neve. We still are waiting for Lewis to appoint a new Secretary General. Eamon says her track record is clean, she knows the rules. Brian from the same bench is saying that's an opinion piece. Eamon isn't saying much else right now. We've had a Shanador enter the chamber, and that what this chamber now needs is a leader who can act, who knows the procedures and one that can be trusted. Bryant has been silenced, otherwise he will be ejected. I believe he still can be voted on even if he is ejected, but I believe my friend fulfills these requirements. Hello, Alexander. I'm not sure. Um, I love what Brian says. Um, just to give a summary over what's just happened.
Did
Um,
Brian
mhm,
did Brian leave?
I believe so.
He's just left, so
Well, he could. I still believe the nomination can be voted on. Um, but let's just quickly, and therefore I nominate her for the office, and one. I once had the pleasure and honour of holding. Um, we now have Neve being called upon. Oh, that's to deliver her own speech. She first thanks the chamber before saying, "Before you cast your vote, I wish to speak to you not just as a candidate, but as someone who has walked through every corridor of this Oireachtas. From the duel to the Shannon, from cabinet meetings as Taoiseach and Minister, to serving the chamber most recently as Secretary General. I know this house, I know its people, I know its power and its purpose. I've spent a lifetime understanding the delicate rounds of parliamentary life, how to protect its dignity, how to respect its tradition, and how to serve all those within it, regardless of party or background. As Kian Caller, my approach will be above politics, firm, fair, and absolutely impartial. I have worked with governments and oppositions.
fuck Jesus, I tried copying something too long.
I have listened, mediated, and delivered. My time in the civil service taught me how to implement decisions with efficiency and discretion. My time in politics taught me how to lead with courage and clarity. Now, at this stage, I offer that complete experience to you. This is not about personality. It's about trust, stability, and respect for our democratic process. I will guard your time, your voice, and this chamber. You know me, you know I'll be ready
Yeah.
on day one. I ask for your support and your confidence, not just in me, but in the values that have always defined this institution. Giame, before he resumes her seat. That is the speech from Neve McManara there. We'll see whether there is any other speeches to be delivered by the chamber.
The attendance is just abysmal, isn't it?
Yeah, the attendance is very poor. Now the Minister for Business has been called for Brian's nomination. That is True Donald. First, thanks to the chamber. Oh, I'm so sorry about the live. Hold on, hold on. On the live stream, it's fine, but on my computer, let me just quickly change it because I changed all the settings so it'd run better on my computer. But right, that should be better and it should be less laggy. I realised that at the end of yesterday, when I was streaming the outro. And upon our bipartisan campaign for Brian to become CC, or Kian Caller, we wish to elect a man with experience, one who has served as our Lash Kian Caller for this beautiful chamber, and ultimately a man of integrity to this office. All of which I know Brian to be. And as we know, Brian was just illegitimately executed by the clerks. This kind of interference simply cannot be allowed to happen. And so I of course have seconded his nomination and do support it. Sorry. For conservative Irish governance in every field. Giame. Um, Brian has been called, but is currently not in the chamber. And just look at the attendance here. We have 5 on the government benches, 2 on the Labour Party benches, and 1 on the Fine Gael opposition, largest opposition. There has now been a motion to move to debate by Bo. It's now been put to the chamber whether the motion is agreed to. It appears to have been agreed here. So I believe that is the motion has passed. Okay, so that does mean we'll now be moving to debate. Now being asked to rise to debate. Bo has risen, so she will be giving a debate. It's unclear on who she'll be debating on. Usually it happens where we have the Cian Corder nomination, then a debate, then the vote, and then we do the same, I believe. Or I know the votes are definitely separate, or at least they should be. Giame,
Nomination, debate,
presiding
vote.
officer. Oh, has there been a point of order? Okay, a point of order has been risen by Eamon. It's the point of order raised by Eamon. Do I call it Eamon McGrath or McMinara now? I, as a former CC, can indeed confirm. Is he actually a McMinara?
I don't know if he was serious.
Oh, that there is no debate on these nominations. Why has he raised a point of order for that? That's not a valid point of order.
It's more of a point of information.
Oh, I didn't. Did he not? Oh, he must have said POI. True Donald just said there shall be no nepotism in my island.
The
There's been a
Minister for
motion to vote.
Affairs is a Yates. The Taoiseach is a Yates, and Donald also a Yates.
Okay, it has been seconded by Francis. It's now being asked whether the motion is agreed to. We'll see whether that is agreed to. We're seeing Labour and Fine Gael support. So I believe that is agreement from everyone to move to the next. Now we will vote on Neve Clark first. So this will be the vote. A vote all has been called, even though I don't believe the vote actually has occurred.
Oh.
Everyone will now enter the voting chambers. Francis Butler Yates, the Taoiseach, has abstained from this vote. We'll now see how many tars and nils this wins. I think we'll see a divide from the Social Democrats and Fianna Fáil here. It may have been a free vote though. The Social Democrats.
Oh, no, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. You'll find out.
Well, I'm not allowed to look in the voting chambers. Carmen's told us off for that. But we are 20 minutes into the session. Yeah, 20 minutes just for this. I thought it usually took 10.
It's because of Brian.
No bias on RTE. Just providing facts, straight facts. Everyone has been unfreezed, so everyone will be returning shortly. If this fails, we'll then move on to vote for Brian to become Cian Caller. Everyone is now resuming their seats. We now wait for the clerk to read out the results. The results are now being read out by the can caller. The results are as follows. I don't actually know what the majority is here. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 tar, that is a majority. 5 is a majority in the chamber. I believe we just have to confirm. 1 abstention, and and 1-0. So that is 7 votes registered there. So that is passed. Niamh McNamara is now the Cian caller of Dul Éireann. Éireann?
You
Éireann?
have a
Something
vote
like that.
for Brian or not?
No, because you've already been elected. We can't just vote on Brian to become Cian caller when there's already a Cian caller. You've been elected, that's it. Done. Well, I presume that means you can't speak up on stage anymore, much more. So you can come join us for the Shannon.
I'm the same level of impartiality as I was as Secretary General.
Yeah, but like you'll be chairing the chamber now. There's a lot more to do. I'm just thinking responsibility rather than I wouldn't mind, but can I just say these cameras are so poorly named. Up, turn, down thing. What even is this? Oh, that's quite nice actually. The oath will now be read between the two. This requires an important oath to the impartiality of the office. Every Cian caller has done this before her, and she will be probably something like the 40th to do so. Won't read this out, but it is there for you to read. Um, she's now been elected. The session will now continue as normal. Well, she is now elected. So I just need to change that to that. The first item is now being read. Well, in an unsurprising move, we now have Niamh Clark as the Cian caller of Dul Éireann. It will now be moving to the first reading. That should be laid like that. Right.
There we
The
go.
professional regulation amendment proposed by the anti-shop. What was it called again? Oh, I really need admin here.
Professional Regulation Amendment.
D12 professional. Is it professional workplace?
No, Professional Regulation.
Regulation amendment. Professional regulation.
The first reading is the person tabling, then it's debate, then voting, isn't it?
Yes.
Now we can all sleep easy because Brian O'Kearney's off the Presidential Commission. So
He is Fiona Full. What's he? What does he? I need his seat. Ulster.
Are you doing graphic things?
Yeah, if you look at the stream, we have little speaking thing that said it's a lot like the one I observed on Oireachtas TV. So I just basically stole it from there. So I thought, why not? Even though it's not RT at all, as I had to find out. But we will be moving to the second reading after this, where we will see debate on the bill. But it is being read out now by the Taoiseach. This is a great bill that will move our nation forward and move forward the goals of the people who voted for this agenda. I urge Tar Giame. That is the first reading of the bill. The second reading will now be done. Again, this is the debate. This is the debate portion, but obviously tabled the one who tabled it will begin the debate by introducing the bill again, as is the customary. Are you in the Shannon? I know that's in the Shannon.
Why is everyone AFK?
Barely any
Oh
votes
my
there. Two
God.
votes. Two votes. Maybe a three, third, whatever. Third vote. Third vote. Right, we have moved the second reading, rise to debate. Erin McManara has risen, the leader of the Labour Party. She begins thanking the Kian caller. She says this is a much needed amendment in my opinion. We should always champion democracy, especially in our legal bodies.
Oh my
Just waiting
God,
for
I'm
her
on
to
the.
continue. What's her name?
Oh, that's hilarious.
This amendment will promote proper representation for our legal professionals on the Bar Council. What seat does she have? Dublin Central. Labour will be supporting this amendment, and I urge the other opposition parties to support it. GRMA. Literally just as I typed it out, she's now sat down. I'm not seeing any other debate here. A motion to vote has been raised. The opposition have agreed. Was seconded it. So it is now being voted to. It is being agreed by the Labour Party, to move to the next stage by the Labour Party, by Fianna Fáil and the Social Democrats, the government. The question is now being proposed whether D12 does pass. So we're now on the third reading of the bill, where we will vote on it. Has been agreed there by Taoiseach. Tars from the government benches, and there's also one from. Oh, no, that's on camera. There's also one from the Labour Party, leader of the Labour Party. Her seat will not be able to be filled for the rest of the session until the next session, where she will get that seat back. She just can't refill it in the middle of the session. The next item has been tabled. Notably, Fine Gael, the only Fine Gael representative, has abstained on that. We now see the clerk deliver the next bill. Public Trials Bill 2025.
Who is that by? That's Sunday or no, Francis?
So Francis Butler Yeats will begin there. let's just switch to that one. This is another promise made, another promise kept. The people have demanded for public trials for a long time, and now here they are. I believe this, yeah, like I said, does make the public trials, well, it makes trials public, as said there. This is D13, the Public Trials Bill. I think currently trials couldn't be publicised, you couldn't see what was going on in them, but this bill is seeking to change that. This is currently leader of Fianna Fáil speaking here, and Taoiseach Francis Butler Yeats. There are, of course, restrictions. Judges may restrict the openness of trials if there are certain criteria met that are addressed in the bill. He is for Ulster. Such as if the evidence is OSA, or if the trial may be destabilised. No, may destabilise the nation if publicised. I would hope he's gone into more detail in the act about that. Actually, no, I can't say that. Never mind. Apologies for that. We'll now be seeing him continue on. Again, this is the Public Trials Bill 2025. If you watched the stream, you'd be able to see it, and I wouldn't have to remind you. But overall, this will wholly open our court system up to public introspection so that our citizens can understand how our courts work in real time, rather than being dictated by baristas in private. GRMA, and that is the first reading concluded. We'll now see a motion to move to the second reading. And the motion has been moved to move to the second reading. We have a second from Erin McManara. The is now being asked whether the motion passes, and it appears that the motion will indeed pass. Nothing from Fine Gael there. And the motion has been carried, so rise to debate. We're looking around just to see if anyone is rising to debate this bill. It appears there is none, so there may be a motion to move to the third reading. It has now been asked whether a motion will be moved. A motion to move has been made by Francis. Has been seconded by Eamon, and the motion is carried. So we now move to the third reading where we'll vote on the bill.
Yeah.
The question is now presented, does the bill pass? That is a two tar from the Fianna Fáil front bench. That is a tar from Erin, and nil from the opposition Fine Gael. And it does pass the voice vote. We now move to the final piece of legislation on today's agenda. I will be leaving us just for the 30-minute period in between now and Shannon. So either Neve can keep you company there, or I'll just put up the little banner thing. This is the Judicial Appointments Amendment 2025, now be presented by Taoiseach.
Oh, Francis hasn't sat down today.
Can just put that back up then. Oh, I wasn't meant to do that. So yes, this is Francis, the Taoiseach. On D14, the judicial. The amendment removes restrictions on the powers of the Taoiseach to appoint whoever he sees fit to the position of a member of the court. Again, this is D14 Judicial Appointments Amendment 2025. So as he said, just looking at the bill here, it removes the clause that says it shall be where it removes the clause on self-appointments. If you want to read more upon that, it is all available in Tida. Okay. And Oireachtas. Now I have heard some pushbacks from this bill. I didn't catch that. This is why I need moderator. So I can just review the chat logs. But it does add a requirement instead. That judges of the High
There you go.
Court must have been a barrister for at least 3 months. Oh, thank
If
you.
you mess around, it's fine. But I trust you, so.
Looking. Um.
So I'm
So I
this legislation, but I understand the concerns, and rather than ignore them, blah 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 blah, talking about how
I
he
accepted
addressed.
and went back to the drawing board. Now, this is, I have some insider knowledge here, and that is where the 1887.4 requirements section came in, where he is now elaborating. I've added an additional clause to this amendment, where a person must be a barrister for a set amount of months to be appointed to the court. Doing a lot of talking today. That will nominally replace the prohibitions clause and provide for a reasonable restriction whilst not being too abrasive. So, like I said, it does place that limitation on barristers being put on the High Court if they haven't been a barrister for over 3 months. Um, So again, this is the first reading of the Judicial Appointments Amendment. If Francis would just open the floor. I feel this is a compromise that can satisfy most persons. I believe that this is a justified measure. So we'll now hopefully be seeing a motion to move to the second reading there. And there is a motion for the second reading. It's now being asked whether the motion is agreed. Just panning around seeing all the votes there. Has been agreed by the government benches. Nothing from. Oh,
Just one more, please. Just one. Oh, I think 4. Is that? Yeah, that's. Okay. It's carried.
we now move to the second reading. If I just quickly.
Is this like the first sitting where Bo's not said anything?
Maybe she's just given up or something. I don't know. Maybe she's not in the mood today. Wouldn't blame her. We've all had those days.
Probably tired from all the court cases and whatnot.
Well, I hope she's doing okay there. There is no debate, so there has been a motion to vote. It has been seconded by Bo and by Owen. She has been denying bill. She did try to deny a bill. Oh, she did nil a bill. So now being asked whether the motion is agreed.
Is this D14? Yeah.
Yeah, D14 has been agreed to move to the third reading.
This is the last piece, and we can adjourn.
The question is now asked to the Dáil whether it passes. Nothing from the largest opposition there. An abstain from the Labour Party, who has agreed to the other bills that proposed to deny it. Nothing again from the largest opposition. Just an all-round shot there, just to get a full grasp of all the votes there, and an abstain from the largest opposition, or the one representative it has. Passes the voice vote, so that's the wrong camera. The bill is now passed with no further business. The Dáil stands adjourned. So that is all we have time for the Dáil, but do not leave us just yet. Come back in just 20 minutes and we will be in time to see the Shannon. Until then, are you going to be sticking around or leaving them in silence?
But I will be back for Shannon.
Okay, well, we will see you. We'll see you all
Yeah,
for the Shannon. Again, there will be an announcement put out when it is time for the Shannon. So until then, we will see you there. And if we don't see you, have a wonderful rest of your nights. And now the anthem will be played. Accidentally restarted it, oh dear. Okay, they've accidentally restarted it again. I think Shanadori have been asked to be seated. So that oh, don't keep playing it. It's not gonna work like that. Nominees for Anne Cahirloch. Dan and Puppy Dab, Limerick of the Social Democrats, nominated by Alexander P. Windsor, Waterford, seconded by Isabel McMinara. Gonna quickly put the ping out, and I don't think I brought the stream, but oh no, I didn't bring the stream back. I don't know why Isabel's being called. Oh, is Alex not present? Isabel is called to deliver the speech on Cahirloch. She says, I think Dan should be nominated as he is a dedicated individual. Not only does he run the RTE streams effortlessly. Eve, can you read these instead? She's not even here. Does anyone want to read them? Here's a gift to this community, Jeremy. That was Isabel there. She now calls upon me, so bear with me whilst I'll mute for this part. It has been seconded, so the motion to vote will now be upheld. I don't believe there was any debate to that, so. Well, if there was, I'm sure the motion to. Oh. Okay, all Shanadori will now move to vote. I'm just saying here live from the scene, and the tar chamber is looking very full. No, sorry. There isn't a Kahirloch robe. I think in real life at least, because I've seen pictures. No, probably not, because in real life I think they usually wear the suit. Can I just say, I love the county of Limerick. I will always serve it. If I'm ever in the Shannon and I don't have Limerick, I'm not in the Shannon. The votes will now be read. And there is 9 tar, 0 0. And I assume there are no abstentions. And 0 abstains.
Wow. Well done, Daniel. Second time's the charm, eh?
With that, Dan is duly elected. I'm no longer going to speak for the Shannon. I'll still be here, recording everything, but
You're left with me. Your Lord Protector.
but until then, have a wonderful rest of your nights. But I will probably say that at the end of the stream anyway.
Also, RTE's two main commentators have taken up the leadership positions of both chambers. Cute. But here we go. Dan taking the oath of the Cíorlach. And I believe it's basically the same oath as the one for the Cian Comhairle. Just says Cíorlach instead. And then once Dan has taken the oath, it will return to business as usual in the Shannon. Labour with their two new Shannon seats full. With some old faces with Isabel McNamara and Leah McNamara also. And the Cíorlach is also a McNamara. And there in the observing benches you can see Aaron McNamara. And also the clerk as well is a McNamara. So really nepotism runs rife. But we love nepotism though, don't we? I think every government has had it. Any Taoiseach that's been in a clan has probably ended up there because of nepotism. But anyway, just finishing up the oath, and then we can move to some legislation, which everyone loves. If only Killian was here, he'd speak with me, but wait. 2/3 of the Presidential Commission is now McNamara. It is rumoured the Presidential Commission will change the Irish tricolour to a transgender flag. Here we have. There's a lot of legislation to get to actually, because was it last Saturday that Shannon was in election? I don't know, but they've got. Let me count: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces here. Hopefully it won't take long. But the Shannon is looking full again. Because for a while, well, it was last session, almost didn't meet quorum, and the few before that, it was quite dead. But maybe there's a resurgence. Oh, someone just left. Emperor struggling to get his words out, scrambling to get a piece of paper which he has his notes on. There he goes. CC, Ciarlach. This amendment was rejected in the previous session. Once the Shannon rejects a constitutional amendment, the legislative process has to, I think, just repeat, because if the Shannon denies a constitutional amendment, it flops. And it has to restart in the Dáil. Well, it could start in the Shannon. Whatever. So there we go. They will now move to D9, the referendum authorization bill. Have these already been? Is this an issue with the statute book? It is. Right, these ones have been done already. So actually, it's D12 because D11's been promulgated already. Yeah. Yeah, it's starting at D12, Dan. Apologies, that was the clerk's. Well, that was me because I was waiting for the promulgation, but. There we go. What one's that? Is that 8? D8, yeah? Archive. There you go. There you go. You happy? Yeah. Saint Dymphna's asylum is rumoured to be planning a startup after the Shannon sitting. So Dan can be wheeled back into his padded cell. Dan is actually the first Ciarlach to be in the chair whilst sectioned under Section 8 of the Mental Health Act. There's a motion to move. Probably to debate or voting. I don't know, not seeing much happening in the Shannon today. Táníl Stán, Daniel. There's been a motion to vote in the Shannon. So really not much debate or deliberation today. I think everyone's just a bit, tired, probably wanting to go to sleep. Actually, I feel quite tired, but anyways, the motion to vote. It is agreed by the chamber. And the government is releasing bi-weekly reports for the departments from the Taoiseach and Foreign Affairs Office, the Business Ministry, and the Taoiseach and Ministry for Justice. Ministry of Justice, I think. Yeah. Here we are, the voting on D12. 2 tall, 3 tall, 4 tall, 5, 6. 6 tall. The bill is passed. Can move that to publication. What? What footsteps? Jesus. D13 public trials bill. I've actually got a headache. I need my glasses. Oh, abysmal. Oh my god, my eyes hurt. What the hell? Oh, Jesus. Point of order from the Senator for Kerry, Leah VNX, former Green Party leader, former TD, former Secretary General, don't know, Director General of RT actually. She says, Kirloch, should a Senator not have to present the bill to this chamber to vote on it? No government Senator has risen to do so. Oscar, how many times in the past has the Presidential Commission been used? Brian O'Kearney getting verbally aggressive in general chat there. Here we have. Honestly, I don't know what's going on in the chat. When the child is tea and the finna is gag, sis, I'm dead as child. Goodness me. It is the government's job to present the bill, says the Cíhearlach, with the government sat. That's all, they are sat. Government Senator, I'm new, my bad. So, you know, we got to teach people how to do these things. We can't always just expect them to know. Gig'em 15 looms. Point of order from the Senator for Cork. Since the government has not submitted the bill, does that mean we can vote on it? Says the Senator for Cork. The bill has to have a first reading for it to progress to second and then third. And the first reading is the bill being proposed. If that does not happen, then it cannot be voted on because it has not been proposed. This is what happens when the two chambers don't communicate, says presidential. Is he presidential or is he back to being one of? Is he a social democrat? He was a social democrat for a while. Yeah, he's presidential again. Oh, Dan, the cameras have been disconnected, Dan. Thank you. We'll get back to our Shannon Aaron coverage shortly. We're back in the Shannon with live cameras. The Keirlock is reviewing the situation here. Who's giving out gelato? They're only for joint sittings. I cannot see anything in the standing orders that requires a bill must be presented, says the Keirlock. Point of order from the Shanazor for Claire. Oh, tips for headaches, guys. My loyal listeners. And also, guys, I know this isn't RT relevant, but I'm Chief Minister of Guernsey now, which is like a SOVs, I don't know what they're called, like overseas territory or something. It's like an island. And I'm literally still like undergoing my suspended sentence given to me by SOVs court. Before we hear the presentation, there was a motion to vote, says the Cíhirlach. I need to turn my light off. It's actually hurting my eyes. The question is as follows. Does D13 move to the voting stage? Says the Cíhirlach Tá Níl Stone. 4 Tá, 5 Tá, 6 Tá, 7. It is carried. They shall move to vote. Which leaves one piece of legislation left from Dole Éireann, which is D14. Judicial Appointments Amendment. Oh, there is one more piece from clerk. I love how Dan says clerks, despite there only being one. It's D14 Judicial Amendment, a Judicial Appointments Amendment, which is once again from the government, from Francis Butler Yeats on Taoiseach. There has been, I'd say, safely say, 4 pieces of legislation from TDs that aren't Francis Butler Yeats, maybe 3. I remember Donald's done one, Sunday's done one. It could be 2, I'm not sure actually, but clearly Francis is carrying this government, which is, you know, he could probably do this without any of his ministers. Shenador for Claire has been called. Struggling to stand there. He is now stood. And also I like in Ireland how everyone stands on the table when they speak, which probably wouldn't happen in other groups, but there you go. This amendment removes certain restrictions on the Taoiseach to appoint members to the court, but allows for restrictions to be based off the length of services as a barrister, says the Shanador for Court. I know you stand beside your chair, Emperor, because Jeremy taught you to do that, because he is a West Brit. Do you move to the second reading, says the Cahir Law? Oh, goodness me. Have moved to the second reading. The Shanad burning through legislation today. Motion to vote. The last piece of legislation. Gone very quickly today. Thank Christ. And I think it's just like everyone these days expects things to just pass because there's so little, like, Labour tries being in opposition, especially with Aaron leading, but obviously they don't have the manpower to actually legislatively oppose. And now there's only 4 parties. Mole, look at Mole there. The last standing Green Party representative with the last Green member of the Oireachtas there. He is a Green Party Shanador for the Midlands. Fashionably late, with probably about 2 minutes left of the session. He has arrived. And the Shannon stands adjourned. Go. That is all. I assume Dan's going to play the national anthem. There's this.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on, I've already messed up on my first day.
you can't stop the national anthem once you start it in game. Just it'll play again if you press the button again.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, is there?
No, I did the motion to move. The motion to the bill. Default to.
I don't think anyone noticed actually. They were all
No,
happy to
Eamon
adjourn.
did. Oh, the bagpipes don't even work anymore, do they? Oh, I'm so
Nope.
getting fired. Sorry about that. Well, thank you all for watching. It's been lovely to have you on. I hope you all love the graphics. I'm happy to take any feedback on them. If you think they're terrible, go and spam my DM saying they're terrible. Don't actually spam them. I will report you. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Neve, do you have anything else to say?
Love you.
Alright. Thank you all for watching, and hold on, why is that started playing? Whoops. Okay, all those in the Discord, I'm just quickly changing over to it. Right, have a wonderful rest of your nights, ladies and gentlemen. And everyone in between. Bye-bye.